can you tell us about the fellow men and women who were fighting alongside you and how the Israeli military at the time was very undermanned and under-equipped. And
we didn't have equipment. I'll tell you that the operation, the Nachshon operation to free the road to Jerusalem, we sent our leadership sent 1,500 Palmach members, and they had only 900 rifles. So they didn't have rifles for all of them. And later on, if I'll continue later on, I was suddenly sent abroad to bring Holocaust survivors, and also to bring arms. And I personally, with another friend of mine, we were on a ship. The ship was called Maestrale, and we brought 10,000 rifles, 2,500 light machine guns, and 500 heavy machine guns, and 500 millions of cartridge, you call it, yes. And this changed the situation.
So you brought arms back and things started to turn around, but you were still very much outnumbered by the Arab armies who were fighting against you. Set the scene a little bit, if you can, Baruch, about who you were fighting against. You personally fought against the Iraqi army, who invaded Israel.
Yes, the Iraqi army, they installed themselves in what in Arabic it is called Wadi Ara. Wadi Ara, it's a road that goes from Hadera to Afula in the valley of Jezreel. I participated in 4 battles there, that's all. And then I was sent abroad. Suddenly they took me out and I was sent to France. And I worked there at the camps of the survivors.
Of Holocaust survivors.
Holocaust, yes.
Wow, who, by the way, Baruch, some of the people fighting, I'm sure, in the Palmach and the Haganah were Holocaust survivors who came off a boat from Europe, were handed a rifle and told you on the battlefield.
I was going to tell you, if you talk to somebody in Israel about the Palmach, anybody you talk to them, they'll tell you the Palmach was Sabras. You know what Sabras, the Israeli-born youngsters? And this is not true. As I told you, in the Palmach towards the War of Independence, there were mobilized 4,600 people. Out of them, 2,000 were Holocaust survivors.
2,000, almost half.
So almost half of the Palmach were, and out of these people, you know, finally, this way or another, about 100,000 survivors came to Israel. And in 10 years, out of those 100,000 people came out 10 military generals.
May 1948, David Ben-Gurion, right here in Tel Aviv, David Ben-Gurion declares Israel's independence 70 years ago. Yeah. Israel goes on, the Jewish people go on to win the war for independence against overwhelming odds. You played a central part in this, Baruch, as a member of the Palmach, the elite fighting force. And Baruch, you went on to have a family, children, build a life here in Israel, and you've seen this nation be built from the ground up, from the very beginning you've been here. Tell us how it feels to see Israel turn 70 this year.
It was a miracle. We did our best, and we overcame at that time. Yeah. But believe me, that we didn't see the great things at that time. It was all simple, and we were very simple. We didn't know that the situation was so bad. It's unbelievable that we managed to have such a big army like we have. For instance, the Israeli Air Force is fantastic. Israeli Navy is very good now. And the army is fantastic. In my opinion, the situation is very good. In my opinion, I'm very optimistic.
We thank you so much for your great service to Israel, and we thank you for joining us today. Thanks, Baruch.
And
we really appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks again to Baruch Tirosh, a true hero, a gentleman, and one of Israel's greatest generation. It was an honor to spend time with him and to film at the Palmach Museum in Tel Aviv. It is a special place, and it really brings you back to the exciting and challenging time of Israel's founding. Be sure to pay them a visit the next time you are in Israel, hopefully soon. Well, coming up after the break, we go from one legendary Israeli warrior to another. Hear the inspiring story of an Israeli soldier who conquered unbelievable odds to defend his country with only one arm. Folks, you will not want to miss this one. Trust me. Don't move.